Hey everybody, you're watching CAD Roll Hunter, and I got some pennies from the bank, so we are going to do a good old-fashioned penny hunt. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's James, and you're watching my channel, CAD Roll Hunter, and I got some pennies from the bank. It's not every day we can get pennies from the bank, and not all banks will actually sell pennies to customers. So I'm quite fortunate, but I have 20 rolls of Canadian pennies that I got from the bank. I've got my Lighthouse Vista Nature album. We're trying to fill some spots in there. Right now we've got 74 of 131 spots filled. And these look to be some pretty good rolls. I'm seeing some nice shiny edges, so we've got some new things. There are lots of varieties in the newer pennies we want to look for, and some rarities too. 2006, potentially, we could find some really interesting and rare varieties. I found one before. I could find one again. You never know. You just got to be looking for it. But I also see some copper edges here. We're going to keep everything from 1996 and earlier. They're made of pure copper. So I've got some copper cups here to separate out the copper from the zinc and the steel. And we want to get in here and see what we can find. I'm excited about this. I've got all of my tools. I've got my scale here. That's important, particularly if we find Americans. I've got my magnet, which is also really important to find some of those varieties. Let's dig in and see what we can find. Well, this is a good sign. First roll, we've got a 1972. It's still got a fair amount of mint luster, probably a bit of red-brown. You can see it starting to change there, and definitely on the obverse, not quite as nice. This one's probably not worth keeping or setting aside, but you never know what else might be in here. And in fact, I see an older one already. So there is our first find. It is a Laureate Portrait 1961. That's our first find for the board. Cool. Roll number 2 is going to have our second Laureate Portrait of the hunt. This one is going to be a 1964. Same roll, and there's our first 1985 to scope. This is the common blunt 5. We want to find the pointed 5. The pointed 5 has a pointed end there. That's a pretty rare one, hard one to find. I found a couple, but they're probably worth about $40, $50, even in circulated condition. So you want to keep your eyes open for that one for sure. Roll number 3, we've got our oldest US of the hunt. This one is 1965. It's circulated. I hold on to all of the copper US cents. So those are anything from 1982 and earlier. Of course, the 82 is a transition year. So I've got my scale here because some of them are zinc and they'll weigh about 2.5 grams. The copper ones will be around 3.1. So you got to check them. And anything in the zinc category, I just set over here, roll them up, and I've got a friend who will take them from me. Well, very same roll there. We have it. We have a 1982. We can check to see what it is. This is in pretty nice condition. It's brown, of course. It's been circulated, but lots of detail. So this 1982 is either going to weigh 3.1 or 2.5, but there are actually 8 different varieties of 1982 you can find between the Philadelphia and Denver. So let's weigh it up first. Turn on the scale here. Let this get itself set up. We'll throw it on. 3.12. So that is copper. That's great. And the other varieties you can find are large date and small date. I'll throw it under the scope. We'll have a peek at this one. There it is. Still some little hints of red around the rim of that coin. This is a 1982 large date. The things to look for is that the date is actually quite close to the rim compared to the small date. But the small date, the two sort of curves more in the middle. This almost has like a straight line here. So I'll set it aside. It is copper, and that's cool. Still in roll 3, we're going to have a couple of Laureate Portrait finds back to back. I can see that because obviously we've got a 64 here with some environmental damage, but right behind it, we could see the lettering is different. So that's a 64. It's a little hard to make out. There we go. Set that aside. And what's this one going to be? That is a 1961 that I'm having a hard time focusing on. And right behind it, we've got a 1967 Centennial Commemorative. We can check to see if it has the doubled die obverse. Well, I can certainly see some damage on this coin here, but I don't see any signs of the doubled die obverse. We would see the doubling in these letters. We'd see split serifs. We'd see everything shifting over to the right. We're not finding it. You want to check out for that. There's other doubling you can find on the other side of the coin. I'll just look down here, and that's on the date. And it's not a double die, it's actually just die deterioration. It's actually pretty common on these 1967s. And in some situations, it can be really, really obvious and actually pretty intense. Pretty cool looking coin if you find it. Later in that roll, a pretty shiny looking Lincoln Memorial set. We may as well just take a peek and see together what it is. I don't know if it's a copper cent or not. And it's not going to be, but it's a 1999 Philadelphia, which means we want to check it to see if it is a wide AM. It doesn't look like it, but I'll scope it here. It's a beautiful looking cent anyhow. So it's not the wide AM. The A and the M are almost touching. They used a proof reverse die for some of these to give it that different spacing in the lettering. You want to look for the 99, the 2000 wide AM. This does show, has a few little spots, but otherwise it's a gorgeous looking coin. But it's got a bit of a weak strike here on states of, perhaps some grease in the die. That's just a beautiful looking coin though. This is roll number 5, and this is going to be laureate portrait number 5. This one is a 1957, our first from the 50s. A little further back, there's our first 1963. The second last coin of that roll is going to be another 1964. So I just laid out roll number 6, and this might be one of the craziest things that I've found in a penny roll hunt. This is the second paper wrap roll that we found here, and I think this might be like homemade paper. Why this is crazy is take a look. When I started to unroll it, I thought it looked a little short, but it's because this is a roll of dimes. So I paid 50 cents for a roll of pennies, and it should have been pennies, but I got $5 worth of dimes. I've got 10 times my investment in here. What we want to see, is it possible that there's anything old in there? I think I see a copper US edge, but could there be silver? I don't know. That would be pretty awesome. I'm going to get these out of the roll and we'll take a look. I'll let you know if we find anything in here as I go through it. Well, it turned out to be a full roll of pretty average, ordinary dimes. There was nothing old, no silver in there. There were a couple of Americans, nothing crazy in there either. But still, finding a whole roll of dimes, I don't know how the cashier missed it. The customer had brought these in. The cashier had called me and said, hey, we've got some pennies here for you. I went in. I didn't even think much of it. I just paid. I think it was like, that bundle was probably 9 rolls, so $4.50. That's what I paid. But little did I know the whole bundle would be worth more than that for sure. Anyway, we'll get on with the hunt. I don't know if we're going to have any more dime surprises in here, but that was pretty cool. Roll number 10, there's our 7th laureate portrait. It is our second 1963. A little further back, here's another one. Kind of got some interesting markings on it, but it looks to be in pretty good condition. Lots of detail. Flip it over. And it is a 63 with some kind of strange toning, environmental damage perhaps on it, but that's cool. Lots of detail though. And here's our third one in the same roll. This roll's been a good one. This one, a 64. Very next roll, there is a 1963. Roll number 12 of this 20 roll hunt, and there is another 1963 laureate portrait, Queen Elizabeth II. Roll number 14, and we might have ourselves a drier coin. Check this one out. The whole surface of that coin has really lost all of its detail. If I flip it over, same thing on that side. I think the rim might be a little bit wider or enhanced from rolling around in the drum of a dryer. Not sure, but it's definitely lost all of its detail. It could also be a chemical reaction, maybe immersed in some kind of an acid. Who knows? Interesting find. I'll just put it aside for now, but we'll keep on going to see if we can find any goodies. We haven't found a King George VI yet. We still have some rolls to do it. We want to find some old stuff in here. So let's get going. Well, folks, I'm pretty excited because we have done it again. We have found another very rare Canadian penny. I've got a 2006 here, and they're really common. There's many different varieties of 2006. There are a couple that are rare. So every single one of them, I flip over and I check. And this one has no P and no composition mark. It's circulated. It's not an MS66 by any stretch, but when I put it down and I get the magnet to it, it is magnetic. We found another 2006, no P, no logo, magnetic coin. This is a rare Canadian penny, and it's just incredible. At one point in time, there was a mintage figure that had been published by the Mint saying there were 222 of these. I think there are more. More collectors have found them, but this is the second one I have found. We're just going to take a peek at the Charlton Guide just to see what we're dealing with here. So here it is. This is it, the 2006 copper-plated steel, unknown mintage. In an MS63 red, it's 125. This isn't going to quite get that. It's circulated for sure. The other one I found was graded by ICCS MS66 red, and you can see that it's a very valuable coin. This one, more circulated, but this is a rare coin in this condition. It's probably still worth $75 to $100. That's just crazy. And we found another one. So in the comments, let me know what you think this might grade. It's still got lots of red on it. And the other side, you can see it's got some, probably what looks like a fingerprint on there and some starting to darken there. But this is it. This is the 2006 no P, no mint mark magnetic penny, and that is wicked. And the very next coin, or I should say the very last coin of that roll, is going to give us our oldest coin of the hunt. This is a 1956 laureate portrait. Lots of great detail still, pretty circulated though, and dark. But that's our oldest of the hunt, 56. Roll 14, another laureate portrait. This one is a 1964. And here's one I see even less than that rare 2006. It's the, I'm not sure what year it is. It's the bowling ball sticker coin. Cool. File that one under miscellaneous. And directly behind that one, we got another 64. Very cool. We're in roll number 15, and we're going to get a foreign coin. It's a little hard to make out because it looks pretty worn, but it is going to be a euro cent, and it looks like it says 2000 on there. I think this is from France. We'll flip it over, and it is 2 euro cent. That is really cool. I can easily see why this would have gotten stuck with all the pennies. It's about the same size and shape. It's got a different kind of a rim, though, that little split rim, but really hard to make out on this side for sure. That's cool. That's awesome. A foreign coin in our penny hunt. Well, the first coin of roll number 16 is going to be our first U.S. wheat cent. This one here is a 1956 from Denver, and there you can see those wheat ears. That's a cool find here in Canada. A U.S. wheatie. Awesome. Roll number 17 is going to give us another laureate portrait. This one is a 1963, and right behind it, we've got a gleaming 2006. So as I do with every one of them, of course, we'll just check it. We'll flip it over. We'll see that it has no mint mark, no logo, or no composition mark, I should say. We'll just check it to see if it is, and it is not. And that's what we find with most of them, of course, almost all of them, is that they're made of zinc. And what you want to find is one that is made of steel. Still a nice looking cent, though. We'll just check. This might be a different date. It's a 2005, and you can find this one with no composition mark or with a P as well. The P is a bit harder to find, so that's one you want to find for sure. Roll number 20, last roll of the hunt. Could we possibly find something older than our 1956 we found? Could we find something cool? Last chance for glory. Otherwise, I'll give you a wrap up in a moment. Well, sure enough, we are going to find something old. And I saw the edge when I was just talking a moment ago. And I thought, well, it's probably just a dirty coin. I thought for a second, maybe we'll just look at this live. But we've got it. We've got a 1941. It is pretty grungy. But that's going to have King George VI. Actually, lots of detail. But this looks like it might have been buried or something. This definitely has dirt and other residue on it. But otherwise, the condition underneath all of that looks to be pretty good. You can see all that good fine detail in the hair. But we got a 1941 King George VI. That's wicked. Same roll, another laureate portrait. Could it be an oldie? Could it be another one from the 50s? And it's just going to be a 1964. So we've completed that hunt, and it was a dandy for obvious reasons. But here we ended up getting a pretty even split of copper and zinc or steel. That was pretty good. And the rolls looked pretty mixed, but we did really well with copper. We got some U.S. copper here too, about 25 cents worth. And of course, we got a bunch of U.S. zinc. Some are looking in pretty awful shape. We even got a foreign coin. We got that 2 euro cent from 2000. It was from France. In the miscellaneous category here, we got what might be a dryer coin from 1980 and a sticker coin featuring, I think, a bowling ball. I set aside a whole bunch of really nice, shiny, newer zinc and steel cents that I thought might be worth holding on to, possibly for future trades, who knows. And we did get some older stuff. We got some laureate portrait. We only got 3 years in the 60s here. We didn't get any 60s. We didn't get any 62s, but we got 61, 63, and 64. We got a couple from the 50s, a 56 and a 57. And it turns out that King George VI did make an appearance. There we are, 1941. And under all that grunge, a pretty nice looking coin. This was definitely underground for a period of time. And we got one US wheat cent. We got that 1956 Denver. So that's cool. And we can see those wheat ears on the reverse. But the star of this show, absolutely, and a very unlikely coin to find, is this 2006 magnetic, no P, no Royal Canadian Mint mark. It's got a bit of a mark on the obverse there, just starting to turn, but still got a lot of red. I think I might send this in for grading just to get it authenticated, get the ICCS flip on it. We'll see. It's not going to come out as strong as my MS66, but this is an awesome, awesome find. And I still think it's probably worth at least $100 in this condition. I had a quick look on eBay, and they are going for over $100, even in circulated condition, and several hundred in a higher mint state for sure. So we didn't upgrade anything in the album today. We found lots of nice stuff, but we already have a lot of nice stuff in here. Technically speaking, we are going to fill a spot. This 2006 steel is in here. For the moment, I flipped it up, but I think I want to send this in for grading. So we're technically sitting at 75 of 131 spots, and there are still some in here that we could find. That 2005P. This is a low mint 2006P. There's some harder ones, and a few that would be very easy. This 1990, the 88, we just didn't pull any out, and I just didn't find any brilliant ones today, but we've made great progress on the album. It would be great if we could get some of the earlier stuff for sure, but that's the way the album is looking right now, and this one does technically fill a spot. Well, I hope you enjoyed that hunt, and hopefully you learned a few things and found a few things to be keeping your eyes open for. If you find one of these, you don't want to miss it, so you've always got to check it with the magnet just to be sure. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like, a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, CAD Roll Hunter, you made it this far, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And hit the notification icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Oh, and I almost completely forgot. Another star of the show, really highly unlikely, was finding an entire roll of dimes disguised as pennies. That was pretty cool too. So we made a bit of a profit no matter what. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll see you again next time. The sponsors of today's video are Lighthouse Canada and the Charlton Press. Lighthouse Canada is the leading supplier of high-quality numismatic supplies in Canada, and the Charlton Press is the leading publisher of coin and paper money catalogs and price guides for Canadian collectors. Go check out their online stores today and use the exclusive discount code CRH20 for 20% off all your purchases.